label us a victim or suspect on suspect. Death on our doorstep. Dressed up in cone heads as Forex with Gore-Tex. Fought against all bets. Now my shit is...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The One. And like I always say, every show we have an excellent show. But today's show is excellent because we have the We Are One family in the building. First, I want to introduce everybody. First, I have Thomas.
Hello.
And Thomas role in the We Are One movement. He's responsible for our youth development, more particularly our male development. We have Tammi Herring in the building.
Hello, everybody.
Did I pronounce that right?
Herring.
Herring?
Herring.
No, I did say it right.
I told you, like the herring bird.
And Tammi is our director of community resources, and of course, you all know we have Jonathan, that guy.
What's going on?
And I'm your host, Will, and we're going to get right into it. Today's topic is a servant mindset. And one thing, first of all, I'm always excited when we have the team in the building. You know, we have a lot of great guests, but to have all of us building together is always exciting. Today's episode of servant mindset, and that's one of the principles that the We Are One movement moves by. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
That's our number one thing. We knock on doors and we try to find out how can we be of service to you. Mm-hmm. And one of the key things we let people know, like, nah, we don't want nothing from you.
That's right.
We don't want no money. We don't want no donations.
Nothing.
We only want to serve you.
That's right.
And one of the things that I think when I look at the team as a whole is we're all lucky enough to collectively have that same mindset.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And what we found is people who try to become a part of who don't have that mindset, it sets the energy off. It turns the energy a different way.
Of course.
And we'll be, behind their back like, nah, we good.
It actually kills the morale.
Right.
Yeah, kills the morale.
Absolutely. And I'm glad I got both of you guys here because you two really, every aspect of what we do is important. But right now, the first phase, what you both are responsible for, is extremely important. First, Thomas, I want to talk to you and understand a little of your background because
Sure.
the first responsibility, the future, the ones who we're designing to take over the We Are One movement, because we always talk about that. We always talk about bringing our relatives as our kids and our youth because they got the energy, they got the know-how to take this movement and probably push it to a level we haven't thought of. Thomas, your key role in that is to help navigate our young men.
Right.
Tell us, if you will, tell us a little bit about yourself personally so the audience to get to know you, and how does that relate to your drive to working with our youth?
Sure. A little bit about myself. I guess the key, more important factor is what drives me is to make a change where I didn't have those opportunities. I was raised by a single mother and on the west side of the city, some of the tougher parts of the west side on Jefferson Avenue. But, even though we lived there, my mother made sure that didn't define us. And she was a hard-working woman. Unfortunately, she worked more than she could keep her eyes on us, me and my younger brother. So, we got into all kinds of stuff as youth that we shouldn't have been doing. And, being men before as boys too early. And so also now, part of that, what we're seeing now in the same culture that we have now with our youth is that still, once again, we're still stuck in that cycle where, there's one parent in the home trying to raise one or more children. And the parent, as much as hard as they may try to be there to be a good mentor and a good role model for their child, they just don't have the support. Mm-hmm. They don't have the resources. And, even though the resources are out there, they just don't know how to navigate and go find those things.
That's right.
And so, but, like I said, as hard as my mother did try, but she did the best she could. We weren't poor by any means, but, we weren't rich either. But, she worked for the state for 35 years. So she brought home a good income for us. But also, growing up in those areas, as a matter of fact, I drove down. I don't even live near Jefferson Avenue. I just drove down the other day just to see what was going on. And, it's just as bad. I read the other day, like, a kid got shot on my old street, I think like this past Sunday, right on Bartlett and Jefferson. So, but, what drives me and for me is that I've had the lucky experience to, that I've been exposed to several different, good life experiences that have taught me. One, I joined the military right out of high school, United States Marine Corps. Got to see the world, got to see different cultures. But one of the other things too is that my mother couldn't afford for me to go to college, so that's why one reason why I went there is to get money for the GI Bill. And so, I knew that would get me off the streets a little bit, even though, I was a good kid. I worked, even in high school, because I wasn't out here wilding, but I wasn't, doing some of the things I should have been doing either, like taking my butt to school every day. I went to East High, graduated in '87. But, definitely didn't apply myself to the capability that I should have. But with that being said, I just want to, I give back. I've always been a giver. I've never been a taker. And as I even told Will and Jonathan from I met these gentlemen on day one, I'm not doing this for any exposure, no gratuity. I don't want, to try to think I'm better than anybody in the group, put me at the bottom. I want to work my way at the top, not the top, so to speak, but just whatever I can do to help contribute to the cause.
That's right.
And so Will has decided to put me in charge of youth development. Is part of that is because, I bring different things. I have a computer science background. I have a logistics background. I have the military background. And, I can help the youth because I really, truly want to do that. I know there's going to be no change for the whole entire community unless we go to the source. And I hate to even associate this up, but, I'm a big historian and I'm big in the military. And so one of the things, whether it be good or bad, how he applied it, Hitler knew that the youth, he had to get the attention of the youth first and bring them up. That's why he had the Hitler youth camps and things of that nature. And he also, unfortunately, him and his evil team figured out to get the youth behind you is through music.
I didn't know that.
That's why the Hitler youth, and that's why we have songs to teach kids. That's why you don't hear a song with the ABCs just A, B, C, D. They put it in a rhythm.
And the rhythmic things.
Right.
You remember
Rhythm
things that way too.
And just think about, as we see our young kids, when you see them 2 years old knowing the whole rap song on WDKX, is because something in the pineal gland accepts the music to be a teacher.
That's
wow.
true.
So what I would like to do is not only trust me, not through music, but just to get to the youth, because we have to cut the snake off at the head, and they're attacking our babies. And if we can't change our babies while they babies, then they're gonna grow up without in the wrong direction, which they're being fed, because they're being fed the poison by unwittingly knowing. The parents are even feeding them the poison unwittingly knowing. They don't know that they're being attacked, and I guess that's that military strategy that that mindset and that consciousness that I always carry, is be aware of my surroundings. But I'm talking about on every level: corporate, financial, work, family, anywhere. There's a strategy what people try to bring to how they're gonna do things to you. And right now, nobody has been on attack even more than us on this United States and on the planet for the last 400 years. But what you guys are doing is was very important to me, because how I move. Like I said, I'm a quiet dude. I'm laid back. I just watch, and then I move, and then I act, and I don't want nothing for it. I've always been that way. I don't give to get back. And when y'all told me the things that y'all want to do about with the stores and the educational centers and things of that nature when I first met you gentlemen, and y'all ain't trying to get nothing back. Y'all don't want to be seen. What y'all out here doing, especially at this time of unrest in the country with all these protesters. What do you get from the protests? What do you do the next day? What are you getting from it? Are you not, and with the voting and all that? If people are not, asking these politicians before they even get elected, what are you going to really do for us? Then they ain't going to do nothing for you, especially once they get in office.
Right.
But we're talking about actual action. I've seen it just in the last 3 months that I've been around this team. It's all about action, and it's about swift, immediate action.
Yep. Amen. Yep.
Like-minded.
That's how we roll.
Like-minded people.
Yeah, it's swift, immediate action.
Yep.
And while everybody else here talking about it and not coming out with real solutions, you have the solutions, and we know what the solutions are. We just need somebody like a team like us to apply them.
That's right.
And get to not be scared. That's another thing too. Y'all going in the hoods. That's where we need to attack.
Right.
And not be scared of them. A lot of these people, they're going to post up at the corners, put their little speakers up, talk and all that, but they ain't going to walk down that rest of that block.
Right. They don't go down them side streets where can't nobody see them.
Right. They ain't going to go down that block and talk to these people that's really, and they not really out there to hurt you either. They just out there just trying to handle their business.
Right.
But if they had a better way, they would more than likely take a better path. And so
Absolutely.
I think, but unfortunately, we've been confined to think, both mentally and physically, to think there is no better way. But we know that.
Right.
All of us sitting here know that.
Right.
And I wouldn't be a part of y'all if y'all didn't think y'all felt the same way as I did. We know there's a better way.
Absolutely.
And it's about action. It's not about words anymore. We've talked enough. We've marched enough. We've sat enough. We've been attacked, provoked, and degraded enough.
Right.
So for me, I want to, also one of the things that, the military takes approach in any war, they take a 3-pronged approach. And they hit you on they're going to hit you with more than fronts than 3, but they're going to have at least 3 major critical points of attacking the enemy. And for us is to engage, I think. Engage, and I'm not trying to classify these children as our enemy, because they're not. They're our future soldiers.
That's right.
But from a theoretical standpoint, engage, educate, and intellectually motivate.
Yeah. And Thomas, one of the things that I always, when I think about you and being a part of the movement, one of the things that from the very beginning, the first time we talked, you came out in the community. We were off Hudson Avenue.
Right.
And your energy and your desire and your loyalty to the movement from that day to this day has always been leveled.
Right,
Meaning there's no up and down with you. You have a, like you say, you're quiet, but your energy, like you like, yo, all right, whatever.
Right.
Like, no, you ain't got to talk me to death. Just tell me what you need me to do.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's how I am, man. I'm a low key dude, but at the same time, I'm about that action, boss.
Right.
just like Mark Lynch, man. I'm about that action, boss. And remember, he didn't talk much.
Right. What is it about We Are One that, because you're a very intelligent man, as all of us are, we have our, like I always say, that collectively, we're a very good team.
Right.
But separately, we're all leaders in our own space.
Right.
That's what makes us so unique.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
by you having that leadership aura and mindset, what is it that made you immediate click with us and say, okay, this is it?
Well, I hate to put it in a street form, but game recognized game.
Right. Right.
And I'm not trying to say that in a bad way.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Right. Right.
I recognize it.
Like to say strength.
I didn't know you from day one.
Right.
Till I met you, both of y'all on day one.
Right.
Lucky you had told me about y'all. But when I came up, I talked to you, y'all engaged me. It was I felt it.
Right.
And so, and now, as you said, as we've proceeded forward, and I've been involved in meetings, I've been around you, talked to you, and the team, it's just definitely shows me it's a good path and good fit for me.
Right.
Because y'all are very educated. Y'all about, attacking the mind, the body. For us even, I didn't, for the boot camp, that was incredible.
Right.
The energy that came out of that, like you said, we saw it manifest in that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw
Absolutely.
the energy manifest in that same very day, how the universe was working. And so, but me being a leader, every leader must follow too.
That's right.
And like I said, like I told you day one, I didn't come here to be take over nothing. I just, whatever I can do to help, participate what you need from me.
Right.
Whether it's picking up a bottle of toilet paper or whatever on the street, to helping kids, training kids, to teaching them computers, leadership lessons. I'm here, man. That's where I'm at.
Wow.
Yes.
And let me ask you, with we, especially in our city, Rochester, New York, we have 1 million youth programs. We have 1,000 things for youth.
Right.
And I always believe in what I call a holistic approach. Like I always say, you can talk to a kid in a program for 4 or 5 hours, but they still have to go back to that toxic environment.
Exactly.
So that's why our strategy is while we're mentoring the child, we're going to mentor the parents and the community. So when they leave us, they still feel us in the other areas of their life.
Definitely.
What is it that you feel that when it comes to us and other organizations you may have had experience with or know about, you being responsible for cultivating our future leaders, what do you feel that you personally are going to do different and that the group collectively is doing different from what you've seen in other areas?
Key word, follow up.
Yeah.
Follow up. I see the follow up. It's continually following up, continually trying to look for avenues to help in different areas because, like I said, the war fronts that we exposed to, you guys are not just like, that's one thing that's very different. Most of them are defined. This is my cause. We're going to help hand out soup. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do, where they don't diversify.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know, this is one thing that you guys are, or we are doing, is that we're diversified because we know, like you said, I mean, yeah, you might help the kid, but what about the mother? What about the father?
Right.
What about the grandmother? You know, that's even got to pick these kids up that may need some help, or she ain't got no food in her own house. The extension of the family is so dynamic that you have to attack more than just the child.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
so that's one thing that's different. Like I said, the diversification. I mean, come on, man. I was telling my mother the other day about the house. I mean, the lady called Monday. We was there Saturday.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, say no more, man. And but also, you know, because it is also within the whole entire community dynamic. Yes, this is a shelter for women with HIV, but okay, that's something different than what you had been talking about. But still, it was like, bam, okay, she need help, bam, we gonna do it. Nobody else don't want to help her. We there.
Yeah, you're right.
But the diversification of that and knowing that, I mean, what that can parlay into other avenues.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, could definitely help even more with the diversification.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And to speak on the diversification real quick, I always felt that with the team, being diversified and from different backgrounds, it helps us and elevates us to a new level.
Yeah.
So I always say, I can't do anything without Tammy.
Right.
I can't do anything without you, Thomas. I can't do anything without Will.
Right.
And that's because we come from all different backgrounds.
Right.
So I guess my question to you both is, do other organizations understand that? Because mind you, we didn't think about the boot camp until you two arrived.
Right.
And that took us to a different level, but we're still continuing to do it. So we rely on your military background. We rely on, you being a mother, with kids.
Who also has a military background, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Army.
Yeah.
And when we talk about resources as well, providing that to, the children's family, do you think other organizations understand that, and do they want to? Because
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
because at this point in time, I hear everybody say they want to help, but it becomes a little contradictory, when they see a person's plan, they see a person's vision, but they want to overstep it without actually implementing it and practicing it over and over again.
Right.
And I think a lot of the downfalls on some of the other organizations are you have these people. You bring these people together with good intentions, okay? We all have good intentions, for whatever reason we have those intentions for. But if you don't have like-minded people on your team, then your organization is just a bunch of people who have intentions.
Right.
Definitely.
So with We Are One, we have intentions, but we have the means to put those intentions to a good use.
To action.
Like you said, we all bring something to the table. One hand washes the other, and if one hand can't wash the other, then neither one of them can wash our face.
Wow. Okay. This just dropped some knowledge. Go ahead with them parables.
So again, that would be my response or my answer, to that question, because again, you have to really, like you say, Thomas, we've been knowing each other since kids. We went to school together.
Right.
But just like you say, you can't talk about it. You got to be about it. And one thing we are willing to do is go above and beyond.
Absolutely.
Some organizations, some people, again, go back to those intentions. They want to do it, but what is their reason for doing it?
Right.
Sometimes you got to go back to that too. But when you talk about We Are One, our family, and I'm going to call it our We Are One family.
Absolutely. That's what we are.
We're not in it for photo ops. We're not in it, to be seen. We're in it to definitely make a difference in our community. Get back to that village. Because that's where we came from.
Right.
That village, and we were just talking about that this morning when we were doing our community outreach. Our cleanup. Oscar and I, and he said, we used to throw a piece of paper on the ground. You were told, go pick it up. Go pick. Why did you throw that on the ground?
Right.
Go pick that
Right.
up and put it in the garbage. And we were able, to say that to somebody else's child. So I said that to say, going back and getting with the parents as well. You know what I mean? Because there are some things that we have really lost along the way when it comes to parenting, when it comes to being that village, when it comes to just am I my sister's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper?
Right.
We've gotten away from that. So, I'm really looking forward to continuing to do that because we have definitely made an impact already, with that alone. So I would say that makes us different and stand apart from any other organization that has the intentions, to do well.
So am I hearing that both you guys are saying that we're the best?
Oh, most definitely.
Ain't nobody better than us. Ain't nobody better than us.
I don't want to put them 3-letter and 4-letter name groups out there, but they definitely ain't messing with We Are One. NAACP, and a couple of 3-letter names.
Right. Tammi, one of the your role, which is a very important role, which is in our first phase, is you being directly responsible for connecting community members with the resources they need. First of all, when you took on that role, it was perfect because I knew you were more than capable. First of all,
Thank you.
And you have a passion for people, so I knew that, and your follow up, like he talked about it earlier, like you're gonna call somebody, and if they didn't get it, you're gonna make some calls, and then you're gonna follow up later on, and double check and see if what you connected them to actually worked.
Right.
And that's going back to what Thomas said. That's something that we don't even discuss. That's something that we don't even discuss.
Right.
It's just in
Right.
us as a group. Like, is that follow up? You have a lot of experience in the city of Rochester with different organizations. Do you feel that particular aspect of what you do, connecting people to resources, how important do you personally feel that is for the growth of the city, or any city for that matter?
I feel that is definitely top at the list. Very important, highly important. Because connecting people to resources, sometimes we assume that people know where they're supposed to go for certain things.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to, and I think that we all do it unconsciously. We hold people to a certain level that they're just not at.
Right.
I
agree.
So when it comes to assuming that, oh, you should know,
Right.
you need to call this number for that. We have to get out of that.
Right.
We have to get out of assuming that people know, because if we have that knowledge and we're informing people, even if they know, just look at it as if, you know what, I just reminded you,
Right.
or enlightened you a little bit. But making sure that people know their resources is really one of the most important things that we can do
Yeah, I agree.
for any individual.
I agree.
That could be for the youth, the senior citizens, the young adults, making sure that they know where to go for certain things. Like, for instance, what to call 311 for.
Right.
What would you call 211 for?
Right.
How to determine if a 911 call is really a 311 call.
Hold on. What's 211?
211, you can call and just get just almost like 311, any information.
Is that new?
No.
I've heard of it.
Have you heard of 211?
Maybe. I know I've never used it.
I've never even heard of it.
Yes.
Till just now.
Yeah, 211 actually just hired quite a few people because the city actually did a program for senior citizens, and there were several businesses, restaurants that actually took place in this partnership that we did, and we utilized 211 for the senior citizens to call in and place their orders for the food that was going to be delivered to them. So it's an informational, intricate piece of the city, but 311. But all those numbers, they do different things. But if you were to call one, you can definitely get your whatever your need is taken care of.
Well, I never knew about 211. Never
Yes.
heard of it. Wow.
So, I mean, again, and even with, people who are poverty stricken, that's one of my passions, because just because people are living in poverty doesn't mean that they have to look like they're living in poverty.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
You know, we shouldn't be able to determine what a person's lifestyle, if you will, is by how they're living. You know, there should be some pride and some ownership, but we have to get back to letting people know that just because it doesn't really belong to you doesn't mean that you shouldn't take pride in it.
Right. Right. And I understand, because you see a lot of that in communities where there's more renters and homeowners.
Yeah.
You see that a lot, where they just don't care if a window break, they just throw tape on it. If the grass ain't cut, they just don't cut it.
You know, make it look like your own, because it is yours. It's supposed to be your safe haven.
Right.
You know, your dwelling, regardless if you're owning it or renting it. If you're renting it, it is yours. You know, the law says that the possession is what, 9/10 of the law.
Right.
So again, you know, make it look like, you know, your own until you can get your own. And I think that that's something that we need to get, you know, people to understand, and, you know, just take that mindset that, you know what, this is mine. Maybe I will take ownership of it. Plant some flowers.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Me riding down the street, I wouldn't know if you owned it or if you were renting. If you make it look like,
absolutely.
you know, it's your own. So, you know, just educating our people again, making sure that they have their resources, letting them know that there are resources out here for you. You just have to know, you know, where to tap into them, you know, to get what you need.
Yeah, and I hate
then
that
we are one, you know, tap into us.
And I hate that, you know, have to even have this comparison, but, you know, the other side, you know, they know what their resources is, and they utilize them.
Right, and they share those resources with each other.
And they share them with each other with no hesitancy.
Right.
You know, and so why shouldn't our people who actually are eligible for those same resources, we got to get them, feed them to them.
I think that, you know, we are one, as, you know, what we're doing, and people are definitely noticing what it is that we are doing. You know, we just got to get there. Like I tell you all the time, Will, you know, you say we're on this mission, you know, and I tell you that we're beyond the mission.
Yeah.
You know,
you say that all the time. Yeah. He's like, yo, we already there.
Yeah, we already there. I mean, because again, people are noticing. They're definitely noticing. They're spreading the word. You know, the buzz is out there,
and it's motivating.
So, and it's just absolutely, and it's motivating other people. So it's just a matter of time before, you know, once we change one mindset, you got to know that mindset is going to coach another mindset that's around them, you know, to that as well. Now, again, don't get us wrong. We're not trying to brainwash anybody. That is not what we're trying to do. Let me put that disclaimer out there right now. You know, but if you can be brainwashed to be a good servant of your community or wherever location you end up at, if you can just be a good servant, then brainwashing it is.
Right, absolutely.
If that's the label you want to slap on it, so be it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And one of the things, and I say this all the time, the way our team moves, we just do us.
Yes,
with no other motives, just a community. And in such a short time, I've seen what we're doing, because it's pure.
Yes.
I always use that word. What we're doing is pure. There's no hidden agenda. There's nothing.
Right.
Like I had discussed with you, like, you know, we're about to start a chapter in Shreveport, Louisiana. We're about to start a chapter in Niagara Falls. We're about to start a chapter in Buffalo. And it's only going to grow.
Right.
Don't forget Ithaca.
Oh, yeah. How did I forget that?
That's why I'm here.
Did you say Niagara Falls?
Yeah, Niagara Falls. Okay. I completely forgot about Ithaca. You're absolutely right. And that's the first place we're working on. And I'm one to say that I just think we just got an awesome team to just take over the world, really. Take over maybe is not the right word. Change the world. Because you know, a lot of people say, oh, we can change the world. Like, yeah, everybody say that. Like, no, look what we're doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Look what we're doing.
No, I truly believe that the heart actually guides the mindset. You know, because you can train your mindset pretty much for anything, you know. True. But your heart, you can't really train your heart. Either it's in you or it's not.
Right.
You know.
Right. So that guy. One thing that's key about you is you're actually the youngest one in the group. Like, you know, to us, you're a baby, so to speak.
Randy.
Oh, man.
Randy Jackson.
Yeah. Oh, you Randy Jackson?
The baby.
You're Randy Jackson.
I'll be Tito.
I want to be Jermaine.
How and I always say when I speak about you, you're in a unique position because you get to see all sides and you're surrounded. And you say this all the time. You always say, look, no, I can learn from Pook, I can learn from Tammy. That's my goal, is to learn from everyone, to absorb something. And I always tell John, that's the man, when you get 30, 35, you're gonna be a beast.
A beast.
Yeah,
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, you're literally gonna be a beast.
Be a bad man.
What about, you're looking at it from through your eyes at your age? What would you change about the We Are One movement to fit your I guess demographics would be the right word, or even if it's nothing that you think needs to be changed completely? Are there any adjustments you see that we need to make?
No. The We Are One movement is perfect. And
Y'all heard that, right? Listeners, y'all heard. He said we perfect.
He said perfect.
And the reason
Heard that
I
right.
say it's perfect is because you alluded to your point, it's pure. All of you have come from different situations. I may be the youngest one here, but I can look, with wisdom and say, yeah, they got it. They understand it. And I said, growing up in a household, that was, truly religious and, always implemented that seed of, God is going to make a way. And I very well believe that. But there comes a point in time where y'all got to stop talking to me about it and actually implement it.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that honestly bothers me now when we talk about youth development and resources, that I feel everybody's just playing around. I really do. I can look at a youth and look in their eyes and say, okay, you're not reaching them.
Right.
You don't understand them.
Right.
What are their interests? What are their dislikes? What are they going through at home? And part of the reason they don't want to understand is because they're like, I've heard certain instances from, let's just say, politicians, prominent pastors within Rochester themselves. The poor take advantage of themselves.
Right.
And I question that because I'm like, well, you were in their shoes one point in time.
Absolutely.
So how can you say that? Is the community helping y'all clean? How about being that sense of hope everybody can look at and say, yeah, I believe in them. I
Right.
trust
Trust
them.
them.
Right. Because coming from the pews every single Sunday, people get tired of hearing that. We're in the midst of a pandemic. So what are you going to do? Are you
Right.
going to sit there and take it? And people love giving food drives. And I'm not trying to knock this at all. But if you think the community is just going to receive you just because you're out here, you're wrong.
Right.
How are you going to build that trust level between them to say, hey, we care about you. We know what you're going through.
Right.
So by going door to door for We Are One, we changed the game already.
Yeah. Yeah. And because one thing, I probably was guilty of saying this years ago, we tend to think, oh, they don't want to stick together, or black people don't stick together.
Right.
Black people,
Right.
That's so far from the truth. No one has never knocked on their door and say, first, how can I help you?
Right.
And second, join us.
Right.
There's very few days go by that I don't talk to someone who say, yeah, I'm feeling that. Yeah, I've been waiting for something like this. And we hear it all the time in the street. You guys are God sent.
Right.
So, we tend to think, looking at it from a wide perspective, like, no, they don't want to stick together. They don't want to unify. Yes, they do. But I feel that through life, so many people have been deceived, for lack of a better word, by other organizations. And not knocking any particular organization, because there are thousands of great organizations out there. Even in our city,
absolutely.
there are thousands out there that are doing absolutely wonderful jobs. But we need to collectively, other organizations, like, don't say we don't want to stick together. Don't say black people can't stick together.
Right.
Because they want to.
Yeah,
Right.
but those organizations, and again, I'm not knocking any of those organizations, because like you said, there are a lot of organizations
Yes.
out there that are doing some wonderful things.
Definitely.
But you can't continue to do wonderful things behind a door.
Or in an office.
Right.
Yeah.
At some point, just like Jonathan, you said, you got to get out and reach to people. You got to, get kind of close to them and, talk
Right.
to them and have a conversation and see, where they're coming from, or, because a lot of times people will talk open up to a stranger quicker than they will, a
Right.
family member,
Yep. Yeah.
All the
for
time.
fear
Yep.
of being judged or
Yep.
whatever. And not only that, I'm gonna use another example. A bartender will actually know all your business than a pastor will.
That is true.
A person will
Preach.
sit at a bar
Preach.
Yep.
and drink
You know,
and tell the bartender
Everything.
every
Everything.
intricate detail
That is so true.
about their life, but won't tell a pastor.
right.
Something is wrong with that.
That's
Something
so
is
true.
really wrong with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
that
you
makes a lot
got a
of sense.
bartender counseling someone seriously sitting at a bar drinking, as opposed to being able to go to a pastor and have that spiritual covering.
Right. Or a barber.
Yeah.
Or a barber.
Same thing.
Got to do my
Barber
beard. I've probably been going 10 years. He know everything about me.
Cosmetologist.
Yeah, he know my kids. He know absolutely everything.
Right.
And like I said, something is really wrong with that. But my opinion is, because people are not being reached anymore. They are really not being reached at their need. Some of the churches are very judgmental.
Right.
The Bible speaks about being judgmental.
Oh, right. right.
Come as you are. We are not to judge. So, and this is the reason why people are just shying from really everything and going into their own little bubble and just
Actually,
suffering.
literally nowadays.
Yeah,
Right.
and just suffering for no reason, and they don't have to.
Right.
But the thing that makes us different is we're knocking on them doors.
Yeah.
You good? We don't want nothing from you.
Right.
We want to know what we can
Like
give
you
you.
said, like you said, you good? Yeah, we here to see if you good.
And to that, add on that point, what's so great about our team, and I always tell this, to Mr. Powell, we're 10 steps ahead of the game.
Yes.
We are so innovative.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when anybody tries to copy it, we're already 10 steps ahead. Anything that you try to implement that we've already done, it's not going to work.
Right.
And so I essentially say, by having me on board, the thing is I'm learning from y'all so that I can implement it to the next generation
Generation.
so
Right.
that it can keep
That's right.
going.
Right.
That's right.
You just can't go, door to door without collecting information. How are you
right.
going to do it?
Right.
With
right.
the, one mission, one family, one love.com, and make sure everybody go to that website right now.
Right.
You definitely not.
And so we're just changing the game in so many ways. That's why I look back and say, I'm like, yeah, I can keep going, but your reign is ending. You guys had 5 to 6 years to
If
plan.
not longer.
Yeah.
So let me see if I understand everybody. So are y'all still saying we the greatest?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah,
Definitely the greatest.
absolutely.
we gonna get you a mural painted, your own statue.
Absolutely. And and we're just not staying isolated in one area. We're going across, the whole city. We're in different areas all the time. Knocking on doors, providing those resources, so
Here's one of the things I can say. And I thought about it heavy this morning. As I'm getting ready to go into the community this morning, I'm actually smiling and excited. Like I absolutely love it because I'm driving, smiling to myself like, I know we're about to have some fun.
Right.
yeah.
That's how I was this morning, headed to, we met in the park and got in the
Yes.
community this morning. I'm at home smiling like, oh man, this is about to be a good day.
And think about that. Just marinate. Excuse me. Just marinate on that for a minute. Smiling, happy to go help other people.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was
seriously.
super excited. I was super excited
I
this
mean,
morning.
that's the gratification I need. That's
Right.
all I need.
Right, absolutely.
Like how could you not be ecstatic about that?
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I do it all the time. And Oscar's good for this too. He's good for at the end of every, like when we go in the community thing, he'll call me on my way like, brother, man, the day was an awesome day, man. He said, I feel so good. I
Yeah.
feel so energized. And one of the blessings that we have collectively as a team is those feelings and emotions are consistent. That's how you know. One of you used the word energy earlier. The universe, used the word universe,
Yeah,
Thomas. That's how we know the universe is working in our favor because every single day, every single event, every time we're around each other, it's laughter, it's
Right.
love. It's like you go home and you be like, man, that's my family right there.
Right.
Yo, we about to kill it.
And And that's why I always say, this is truly my real family. Don't
Right.
get me wrong, I have a blood family.
Right.
But I said every time I come to, whether it's an event, I'm here right now.
Right.
I get to let my guard down and literally just be me. I get to laugh. No problem exists. No
Right.
worries exist. And that's what I just look forward to about being around our team. It's just refreshing.
And
It is.
And one thing I want to say, even to anyone's listening, everyone's welcomed. Everyone is welcome into our family, even though we have certain guidelines. We all have that discernment, for lack of a better word, to know, who fits and who don't. But everyone is welcome to be a part of us. And it's not even because we want a lot of people, because we know our system works.
Yeah.
It could be a handful of us. Look at us now.
Don't stop.
If we wanted to be 100 of, we could put a post. Hey, meet us such at this location. We want 100 people, but
Right.
we'd get 90 of them who intentions aren't right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just want anybody to listen. Like, you're all welcome. Everyone is welcome to be a part of
Absolutely.
us, and we internally and externally, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure everybody around us, or even close to us, succeed.
I wanted to touch a little bit more on my perspective of Jonathan, and what I see, what he brings to the table, by him being the youngest, the younger of the group, the youngest, or however you want to define it. What he brings that different perspective. Yes, we've gone through some of the things he's going through now, but he's in that moment now.
Right.
This is his moment, and I'm sure you see your peers. Some are on the sidelines, some are even trying to help, but they're helping in the wrong direction that you're not. So, I mean, within any diversified organization, you can't just have a old demographic and no youth.
Right. Absolutely.
That's right.
You got to have that youth in there for that energy and that perspective in there, and you bring great positive energy into that. And that's my perspective, what I see from you, man. When I greet you, you got that smile. What's up, cool?
Appreciate that.
What's up, cool?
Very respectful.
So very respectful.
Yeah.
And very, also day one picked up. A man's a highly intelligent brother. We need that
Very
too.
intelligent.
So we need that from his perspective as well. We need some of your energy. So I appreciate, just the little things that you've been, coming at me to and talking to me about. So, I want us to definitely continue that, man, because I truly appreciate it, man. I think you're a good brother, and we need you.
I appreciate
And
that.
not only that, but being a role model. And
Yeah,
I know,
that too. That perspective too.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, when people are being called role models, they be like, "Nah, not me." I'm nobody's role model. But I think that people should definitely take ownership of that. Because if you are a role model, you just never know who's watching.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Your age, younger. So
Right.
and you are definitely a role model for your era. It's like same game, just a different time.
Right.
For the most part, and you are definitely a role model, because I noticed even with the boot camp how the younger kids.
You have Jabril, his little sister, like as soon as they get out, they run straight to Jonathan and hug
to you.
him.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like
Yep.
they look up to you, and not only
Right.
that, but for you to be able to pour into them
Right.
positive things, you are definitely that role model to some kids that's not even around you all the time. Definitely we're
Yeah.
trying to get it like
Absolutely,
that, get it that way.
absolutely.
But again, you are definitely a role model, and you are definitely a great intricate to We Are One.
Definitely.
Right.
And
I
where
like
we
that.
trying to go.
That's
The
a
next
hell of a
generation
perspective.
behind
Right,
us.
right.
Absolutely.
And for anyone listening, you definitely hear that this is definitely a good place for your child, male or female. This is a place where they get the toolage, the leadership skills, empathy for their community, just a lot of things that we do collectively, like Thomas spoke about earlier. We're just not defined to one area. We cover such a vast area when it comes to the way we help, the way we communicate, the way we connect, that a child coming into our fold will be so well-rounded in such a short time.
Absolutely. But let me put this disclaimer out there right now, okay? Let me put it out there. I know that we talk about the gentlemen, and we're talking about, you know, our young men, but that's not limited to. We also, you know, are pouring into our young women.
Absolutely.
As well, you know, so
See, it was your job to bring that up.
it was
See
my
that?
job to do that.
See how you did that?
That's the key
Right. See how you
component
did
right
that?
there.
Absolutely, you know, to you know, pour back into our young women and let them know that, you know, you are more than just your lips, your hips, and your thighs. You know, because you see a lot of pictures being taken, and you know,
A
a lot of
pictures,
young women
videos,
think
a lot
that,
of
you
music.
know, their backside, you know, are always, you know, publicizing or promoting their backside is what they should be doing, you know. But you can have on a nice 3-piece suit if you want to,
Right, and control
still
the
be
room.
sexy.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
Definitely.
you know, control the room. So again, you know, we're definitely pouring into our young women. We are going to have a young women's boot camp.
Yeah.
So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be awesome.
Yes.
It's definitely going to be awesome because, you know, girls are a little different. You know, the boys boot camp was definitely, it was good. And I would have to say shout out to all the young men that came.
Yes.
Because they
Yes.
came with a good spirit.
Every
They
day.
came with manners. They learned something. They wanted to be there. They
Yes.
wanted to engage. And even when I did my follow-up, you know, the parents, when I spoke with the parents were stating that, oh, it was awesome. You know, they were talking about this. They were talking about that. So, you know, that made me feel really good, too, to hear that positive feedback. But I can't wait to get in or
With
tap
the
into our young
ladies.
women.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Well, we have a lot more male and female boot camps coming up. Speaking of boot camps, I definitely want to take the time to give a shout out to Scott from Rockvox for making all this happen.
Shout out to Scott.
Scott.
I definitely want to always keep him at the top of what we do. And that's going back to when we talk about good energy, what we do. Just real quick, Scott reached out and said, listen, man, here's what I do. Here's what I'm the master of, and here's how I want to give back. Here's how I want to help push what you guys are doing. So this vehicle right here is extremely important because as we're going door to door, like we had this conversation earlier, he was like, no, this vehicle right here sends us, further.
Absolutely.
Right.
While we're knocking on the doors, this is pushing us to someone's ears and someone's heart in a city somewhere that we never even heard of. So I want to thank him. I want to thank my team. Yo, I love you guys. We the truth.
Yes, we
Nobody
are.
can touch it.
That's right.
Right. No
That's
doubt.
Me
right.
and Ernest having a conversation earlier when we was in the community. He was like, man, no, we don't even think about competition because no one's even close.
I definitely don't mind saying that.
So before we close up, Thomas, you have any parting words that you want to give the listeners, the young men, the family, anyone?
Sure. What I would just like to say is that, as part of this organization, we're gonna be here.
Absolutely.
We ain't not. This not no fly by night thing. We gonna be here, and just like Will says, to change the world, take over the world. I mean, I know this is at its infancy, and so for any of those that would want to join us, if you sincere and you really about trying to help making a change in your community and your culture, please contact us because we ain't going nowhere. You're gonna see us. You're gonna feel us. Even more importantly, So that's what I got for that.
deep. That guy. Any parting words for our listening audience and viewing audience?
If you can't beat us, you better join us.
Y'all so conceited.
Because I'm gonna make you feel why they call me that guy. I promise you. I
You guys are
promise you.
so conceited.
Oh, don't get them started. Don't get them
Oh
started.
boy.
Tammy, any departing words to any of our listeners or all of our listeners?
Yes, I would absolutely say if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of your surroundings, your situations, and the things that you are complaining about, here's your platform. We are one.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, deep. My parting words are the same as always. One mission, one family, one love, and we're out.
One love.
One love.
My shit is all set. I found my pace. Now these brush me. Got $1 million smile. Started with some buck teeth. Show you how to get it now. Bet you niggas trust me. Young black with a gift. Must be. Oh, we got new names. You gotta add with a gift. Add with a gift. Add with a gift. Oh, we got new names. You gotta add with a gift. Add with a gift. Add with a gift. Like Clancy with a gift. T Dan with a gift. T.Y. with a gift. B Will with a gift. Shia with a gift. Kyle with a gift. Claude with a gift. We all with a gift. Like.